Hey y'all, hey. Welcome back to Point of View with Joy.
Cute.
Please like, subscribe, and share. Y'all, I always laugh. My husband, when he say that, it just makes me laugh. It's not like I was gonna laugh before. Anyway, we are back. Ruthless Season 5, Episode 15. And we're going to be covering 15 short part, 16 together in a combo. So, Ruthless 5, Season 5, Episode 15, going to battle. We're going to be talking about what happened there. And just to let y'all know, the FBI brings in a negotiator to finally make headway in their investigation. Marva prepares for a drastic final step. And the highest proposes a cruel test for River. Okay, so we're also going to be bringing in 16 as well. So just to let y'all know, the 3 blind mice. No, I'm joking. We definitely going to be talking about episode 16, as I said, y'all, which we'll talk about that when that time comes. But let us go on and get into 15. Now, what you think about what happened with Andrew? And we talking about episode 15 when it was coming on. What happened with Glitchy Glitch? You know, Andrew comes out as the champion. And Tyrone is like, wow, like, you saved us. And Andrew's like, what? I was had your back from the beginning.
Yeah.
Your highest?
Yeah.
Okay, your Elias. I also call it the highest Elias because this dude is such a fraud. And he was like, nope, not always.
Yeah, but you also know that Tyrone, he's no fool.
He's no fool.
Because think about it, Andrew still got the pistol in his hand.
Okay.
You know,
like, let's talk about it.
And he like, yeah, man, I was always by your side. While he still got the pistol on his side, right? And he's like, nah, not always. He's like, yeah, but he says after your teachings have touched me. He's like, yeah, of course, sure, yeah. You know what I mean?
The evil government. Okay, he's so,
yeah.
You know, they get on my nerves. I always voice my opinion about Tyrone and other people. So here comes Manny and Peter. These are the most silliest, dumber than dumber soldiers I met, but they are strong. And if y'all did want some soldiers on y'all team that's going to that's if y'all was going to be a cult. Hopefully you don't be a cult. But these 2 people probably is one of the more reliable people on the team that really believe, right?
Yeah, they don't ask questions, they just do.
Yeah, and they make fun of people that are not following the Raku. So
the irony.
Yes, that's so weird to me. So Tyrone, the scammer, the lowest, he's standing there like, where have you guys been? Where was everybody? You know what I mean? Like, he looking at them like they're lousy, like they're the bald-headed stepchildren. Okay, and they're like, well, yeah, the new Daikon didn't have us on the right perimeters. And I'm like, how big is y'all camp? How many people y'all got? What, y'all got 500 people? Yeah. That is a lot of people, but come on. It's more than just y'all 2. Don't y'all got other soldiers standing around? I didn't get that part. But anyway, you know, that's when Tyrone noticed that River wasn't there. Because Peter and Manny, to be honest, they don't respect River.
Nah.
Okay, they respected Daikon. Even though they may not have liked Daikon, they respected him.
Well, the original Daikon, he demanded that respect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He wasn't, like I said before, half of the stuff that they was doing and saying would have never happened on his watch.
Absolutely.
You know,
like, they was just too...
Daikon was on it.
Yeah, he was that dude. He was that G. But River is flowing like a river. He is definitely not like a stand-up soldier. So he's missing the action. Bad things happening. He's nowhere to be found. Anyway, what do you know? Ta-da! Here it comes, RiverCon.
River.
flowing like a river, coming in. He looking like he just had the worst taste in his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, when River shows up, Tyrone is ready for battle. He's, looking at his right hand man, Andrew, because how I look at it, just because Andrew saved Ruth's life and Tyrone's life,
mm-hmm.
I feel like Tyrone is watching like, yeah, he got the juice.
Mm-hmm.
He not really thinking about, because you talking too much, but you not doing a lot, River.
Well, you're not there when you need to be.
You're never there.
I mean, like you said earlier.
Yep.
Had Andrew not had stepped in there, Glitch was really.
Yeah, he was about that glitch. Yeah. He was about that life.
Andrew ran in there just as Glitch had the gun pointed right to Ruth's head.
Yeah.
And he grabbed it from him.
Yeah.
And no one got shot. You see,
that's
except for Glitch.
Except for Glitch.
Yeah.
So it was like, to Tyrone, that was impressive. Mm-hmm. So I feel like he now is gonna play both sides. You feel me? Because I've been saying this since we started doing these reviews. Tyrone is not as dumb as he, as he tries to act like. Mm-hmm. He's actually a low key weirdo, low key. Well, he high key weirdo too, but Tyrone, but he's a scammer. Mm-hmm. He's a real scammer, y'all. Like we think he's just this, retard or crazy person, but he's also a little bit of a scammer too. You can see that he likes to put stuff in the mix. Because sometimes when people crazy, they just go all the way off at the end. With him, he got his crazies, but then he also got his games.
It's all jumbled in.
It's all jumbled in. So he smacked flames. Man, River had that River action. That's all you heard. Clap on. River looking like he's seen a river. So River derobes, he has to take this suit off, because he no longer is a daikon. And y'all know how this go, y'all. Y'all know how I am. I didn't put it in there, but yeah. So he basically is messed up because the River / daikon was the best thing working for him. At this point, y'all, he feels like he's losing everything. Because he felt like in order for him to escape, he needed to be like a daikon. What you thought about that?
Well, yeah, you daikon, you second in charge.
Right? Absolutely.
And you in charge of the soldiers. That should have gave you the one up.
Absolutely.
As far as escaping automatically, but Rivers, he didn't use none of that to his advantage.
Right.
He didn't. He was so busy. What was he busy doing? He was teaming up with Obadiah trying to get Ruth out the picture.
Right.
You know what I mean? When he should have been planning, he should have been always planning his escape.
And that is what I'm saying.
Forget getting back at Ruth. Forget getting back at Obadiah. Forget getting back at anybody. You know what I mean? Just plan your escape and get out of there.
Come on. Tell the truth.
So
that's what I really feel you, Q.
That's what got him in trouble. Him going back and forth with Ruth. Yeah.
It makes no sense. And then think about it. All that stuff that he did, now he got another enemy. He don't want to have it with Ruth. Because Ruth, she uses her body. She uses her brains. She will do anything to escape, but also to, stay alive. So right here, this is when Ruth is like, I think I want to see him get punished.
Yeah, she wants to watch the punishment.
Yeah, because she was already upset at him at this point. You know what I mean?
Netflix moment for her.
For real. Absolutely. What you say?
All she needs is popcorn.
All she needs is popcorn.
She was like, yeah, I think I wanna watch this punishment. He's like, nah, get out of here.
Absolutely. That's crazy. So as y'all can see, Tyrone, oh man, when he makes that face, look how he got River. He got River looking crazy right here. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all this, right? With River in this situation, I know y'all probably already seen it already, but this is really how his face really is at all times. Listen, he's not as confident as he acts. And I know y'all can see that, right? Okay, so next we go to the FBI. They are upset because now they don't have anything. And of course, their superiors coming in and they have a talk with the sheriff. You know, the sheriff is crooked as crooked is, but he having his best life right now. He making fun of them. Ooh.
Yeah, because they boss is coming.
Yup. Okay, so now we got Andrew and Manny, Peter. They all hanging out together, and they are putting Glitch in the ground to lay to rest. So what happens here is the weird part. I think Manny was given, what's his name, Andrew, some congratulations, like, thank you, brother, for being there.
Yeah, had you not have been here, man, you know what I mean, it could have went a whole nother way. And that's when Obadiah walks up on him.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, he's like, what did brother Andrew do? You know what I mean? He's like, oh, brother Andrew. He said, oh, he saved us. He saved the highest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He got there in the nick of time.
Yeah, and it's like as they was getting that, it says Obadiah, like, if you really think about it, he was so hyped and goofy. Like, oh, okay, let's hear. I'm like, Obadiah, you know you is not that goofy to want to hear so bad. Because as we see it, you were the puppet master.
Exactly.
So you doing this already makes me feel like you already know what happened.
Well, because we already know about Obadiah. We know Obadiah is really not Raku.
Yeah.
Obadiah is playing a game just like the rest of them.
Yeah, he was gaslighting. And then when he said a parasite was trying to
Yeah, so he's always testing people, watching people to see like who's really brainwashed.
Who's really brainwashed, right?
That's why, you know what I mean, he had Mother Marva. And you know what I mean? And he was trying to see whether or not she was really Raku or she just playing the game.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he feel like Andrew, you know what I mean? He's just playing the game. So he's just watching him for now.
Okay.
He ain't gonna make no accusations unless he got some
proof.
You know what I mean? But he just watching. So when they said, oh, he saved, you know, the highest, he's like, oh really? What did Andrew do? Oh, I gotta hear this. This gotta be a good story. You know what I mean? So he got a little chuckle out of it.
And then remember, he was like, a lot of people is here for evil. And saying that people are there to trick people and are really not for the Raku.
That's right. He said they everywhere.
They everywhere. That was crazy work. Look at his look. he not as dumb.
Yeah, he's like, he said everyone not real. They everywhere.
For sure. Yeah, that's crazy work. Andrew, like, man.
Andrew, see, you know what I mean? I feel like Andrew catches a whole lot of flop, but you think about it, I feel like, in my opinion, I feel like Andrew's been 100% though.
Yeah,
you know I'm saying? He's been 100%, and yeah, he's had to play both sides, but basically, you know what I mean, I don't see how he can be held accountable for anything because he's under duress right now. You know what I mean? He's under duress. How can you know what I mean? He's faced with life and death situations.
For sure.
You know what I mean? His life. You see?
Absolutely.
And not only that, he also had to watch and see what happened to his other fellow agents. And one of them was essayed and killed and then fingers chopped off, and you know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of mess.
Yeah, so I mean, whatever he has done in this situation and to survive, I mean, I can't see how you can hold him accountable.
Yeah, and did he lose his wife too?
And he lost his wife.
He didn't lose his children though, did he?
No.
His son.
So he's under duress. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
he is.
His mental and emotional state is, you know what I mean?
It's under.
Of course. How can you know what I mean? But that's another story.
Yeah, that's another story. Yeah. So next we got, what's his name? George. He reminiscing and about his swammy, and they all having a joke, and
a pause moment.
A pause moment.
It's definitely a pause moment.
Yeah, man, I'll be your eyes. Yeah, I'll be your eyes. It's like, man, he want to talk crazy.
Yeah, his man is happy as hell. Hear him talking about, yeah, man, I used to have this. Man, I was like, man, come on, bro. Come on, bro. I'll be like, well, like, okay, yeah. Anyway, man, hopefully, man, somebody come and get us out of here, man.
Right. And then here we come.
Mm-hmm.
Now they gotta pretend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because they already know what Obadiah is all about. So now they gotta go through this torture.
Play the game.
Obadiah gives them the training.
Put the beats on their ears.
That was crazy. Do we have to? It's like, come on, y'all. Who are y'all dealing with here? You dealing with Obadiah, you dealing with Supreme Mother. Both of them are evil. Like, come on. Raku!
Oh, hell to Raku!
That was weird. Yeah, oh, hell to the Raku!
I feel like the most devout Raku or brainwashed person will say is Marva.
Yeah, she is, y'all. She's the hot mess.
Seemingly,
yeah.
Anyway, because
right now she said, I'll do anything. It's like, will you? Because honestly, Marva, I think you faking. Because you was trying to get some of that cutty cut back in a couple seasons ago with all them different dudes. So you believed in the Raku, then why was you trying to sleep around with the man? Stop it. So next, y'all, we got the reporter. Yeah, that was a good point. Right? She was trying to get her little freak on. Okay, so we got the reporter. She's back. And she just can't stop talking about things like, come on, girl, this is a real place. You've seen a person burn themselves up. Okay?
That's interesting because she should lose her job behind this.
Absolutely, because she's actually the reason why a lot of this media situation is going on, but she keeps on putting out all of this stuff, and now she's back doing it.
Yeah, it's one thing, you can go in there, you can get video footage and everything, but how you present it and how you tell the story, how you narrate it, that's you. You don't have to tell it in such a way. Yeah. Because now, outside their gates, you got a whole bunch of people who wants to join the Raku now.
Now you actually, maybe she's a part of it. Because she didn't make these people want it more. Have y'all ever seen it where somebody say, oh, you're not supposed to eat no ice cream. Ice cream bad for you if you got sugar issues. She one of the people that go get ice cream, let it drip all the way down her face. Pause. Okay. Pause. I know that sounds crazy, y'all, but she'll get the ice cream and she'll have all the chocolate. Just
pause for you.
Yeah, pause for me. But come on. Yeah, not pause for Q because he's a man. He's a man.
I'm a man.
Okay. You know what I mean? Pause for me. Yeah. I'm just saying, and then she'll do it in front of a diabetic. The diabetic not supposed to have sugar. The same way. She literally playing around. Why would you do this? You making them want to join so bad that they are doing a protest. Okay, FBI is hearing it, and they're not happy. And honestly, I feel like the these two agents right here, they should be in trouble because they was really freaking.
Yeah.
And then that's their boss right there. They're seeing everything unfold, and he's very upset.
There's a way they get out of that too. They under stress. Stressful situation.
I feel you.
Stressful situation. You know what I'm saying? It needed a release. I'm saying there's ways to argue that. In a situation like this, I feel like everyone's under duress.
Everyone is having a powwow. Going postal and crazy. Yeah, so anyway, y'all, I agree with Q. They could say, hey, listen, we had to do some emotional bonding.
Stressed out. Wasn't thinking right.
We wasn't thinking right. Our heads wasn't straight. Okay, moving on. Okay, so now we got the new boss or their superior, I don't know if he's new, but I know that that's their boss. He's saying that they're going to be fired, basically. And, you know, unless they have some type of intel. So they also have a negotiator coming on, so that's something new too, just to move on, so y'all can see what's happening. Now we got Ruth and we got Zane. Zane is coming back to Ruth, and I feel like Ruth is like a mother figure to Zane. What you think, or a sister?
Yeah, she's well, to Zane, Ruth is one person that she can confide in. Okay, someone that she semi-trust.
That she semi-trust.
You know what I mean? Because for one, Ruth don't got nothing against Zane.
No.
You know what I mean? Zane don't got no beef with Ruth.
Right.
So they are a neutral ground.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Zane is another woman.
Yep, that's true. You know that's true. So then
Ruth is another woman.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And because she's another woman, it's a lot easier to depend on her, to just say, hey, look, this is what's happening. Let me tell you, rather than thinking she's going to try to undermine you or try to, because you know what happened with Zane when it comes with the opposite sex. Okay. But with Ruth, she know Ruth don't want her in that kind of way. So I feel like she does let her guard down, which is a good thing.
And Ruth is just smart. She's one of the smartest ones in this whole thing.
Absolutely. You know? She really is.
Besides her and Joan, I still think that Joan is very smart.
Yeah, Joan is smart, y'all. Joan y'all know Joan irked me because it's her personality that irks me. And I think she's very smart. She's a genius, honestly. Okay, so now we got Zane. She's actually showing Ruth what she's found. Mind you, the good thing about Zane, y'all, she does, you know, tell Ruth everything, like I said earlier. So she's showing Ruth some stuff that she's found out since she is there with the children. She found out that they got some C4. Okay? I mean, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
A C4. Like, what's going on?
They planning a big celebration.
Yeah, they about to have a big celebration, like a New Year's or what, 4th of July. One of them. They got the C to the 4. They better get up out of there. And look at Ruth. Ruth is over it, y'all. She's like, because mind you, she got all these other obstacles. Now she's like, wait a minute. It's the C4 that's involved?
She's like, man, let me just get my child and get up out of here.
Exactly, at this point. So now we got the protesters. We got this one guy with the little dreads. Okay, he is going all out. He wants to jump up in the raccoon. And look at the little reporter. She's like, yeah. So why would you want to do that after you've seen everything? And you see, this is why we said it was never good that she exposed it the way she did, because she made it appealing.
He was like, these lies, them evil government.
Yeah, so y'all, you got a lot of people now that wants to join, and Tyrone sees that too. He knows what's going on because of that reporter. I wouldn't be surprised if the reporter is a helper. Because I just don't see her being really, you know, because if she don't lose her job behind this, I really don't know what to say. Like, you have helped people to believe in a false narrative when you know it's already 500 people that is held captive right now.
Well, man, in real life, man, it's their job. You know what I'm saying? How they narrate things. That's why,
exactly.
That's why, for instance, I'm not going to spend too much time.
Yeah.
But for instance, if you notice, anytime, talking about in real life.
Yeah.
If something happens in a black community, they'll send a black reporter.
Yes.
If something happens in an Asian community, they'll send an Asian reporter. Or a Latino, they'll send a Hispanic or whoever.
Caucasian.
You know what I mean?
Caucasian
or
reporter.
Caucasian reporter. You know what I mean? Because, you know what I mean? It appeals to the mind.
Yes, it does.
Of other people. And when you put someone there who looks like you and seemingly are like you know what I mean, you seem to trust them a little bit more.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So next, y'all, now we're about to go over to River. He just got beat up by Tyrone. Tyrone is, kicking his butt. And he reveals to River that he unalived the first Daikon.
Oh,
that's crazy.
That's right.
Because I just thought Obadiah did it. And this is what shows everybody who's watching this crazy cult TV show that the one who's really the puppet master is Obadiah. Because had Obadiah never said, what will we do about this? Tyrone would have let it go.
You think so?
I know so.
Okay.
But because of Obadiah saying, what should we do about this?
Because something had to be done.
Something had to be done. But mind you, it would have just been like any other time Daikon didn't talk to Tyrone because he didn't been passionate before and said, hey, look, I don't think we should handle this way. I've seen Daikon raise his voice before. Maybe not, a lot, but I've seen it. So what was the difference? He's telling on all three of them. So,
and I think Tyrone was just stressed out. You know what I mean? Because he could at least send them to the punishment trailer and just, juice them for information.
Exactly.
All the stuff that he said, because those is accusations on 3 of his top people.
Yes, 3 of his top people, y'all.
They wasn't just like some soldiers or some nobodies. Right. They were his top people. You know what I mean? He could at least put them in the punishment trailer and juice them for everything he know, all the information. And then if he wanted to get rid of him, he could have got rid of him.
Yeah,
but he just offered his head.
And guess what? This is showing you that Tyrone is unstable. Yes, he is sneaky. Yes, he is the fakest. He is the lowest. But he unalived the first Daikon, and Obadiah is a bad medicine for Tyrone. He's the worst medicine. He's been the medicine in Tyrone's hand since Tyrone's been a little boy. So who knows? What if he even unalived Tyrone's mother? He could literally be, a serial unaliver.
He said a serial unaliver.
A serial unaliver. Unaliving everybody by telling Tyrone who to unalive. Because he literally worked that into Tyrone's head. Well, what should we do? He made it seem like as if he was going to do it. So now we know that that's the reason why Tyrone's ghost mother, his prostitute mother, kept coming back saying, hey, why did you do that? Because Tyrone really did do it.
Yeah, she said that in the beginning.
Yep.
It was you.
It was you. You did it.
But I was just thinking that he gave an order. He put the hit out,
which would have made him as guilty. But the fact that he actually really did it,
because what he said was only the highest can take the life of a Daikon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So we know, y'all, it's just a hot mess, and this is just why this is so psychotic. And if you guys are Christians or Muslims or whoever, y'all worship, I'm just telling y'all, this cult thing, believe it or not, is real. Yes, it's a TV show, but people can take over people's mind. So it's a very dangerous situation, and I feel like that's the reason why I watch it, because I want to see how these cult leaders really trick people, because I'll be like, man, I want them to get it out.
You gotta see how it ends.
Yeah, we gotta see how it is. Absolutely.
Play out.
Yes. And so right now we have over here, what's his name? Obadiah?
Yeah.
He's with the children. Let me tell y'all, he got the children so brainwashed. And I feel like those are the biggest victims. What you think? He got them really messed up.
Well, the fact that they're kids, right? You know how kids are and how their minds are.
Yeah.
At this age, as young as they are, you know what I mean? Everything's impressionable upon them, and they soak up everything. And
absolutely.
They are apt to believe anything.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Especially if it's told to them in such a way.
Absolutely. And they feel like they're real soldiers, and that they are for the Raku. They felt that that's their service, to be shields for the Raku. That's how Obadiah has already presented it to them.
Yeah.
So in their mind, every day they're living to find out ways of how they can be the best soldiers.
boot camp.
Yeah, boot camp is very crazy, y'all. So what is coming up now? We got Obadiah taking the children around. Soldiers, let's go. And talking about what they're going to do for the raccoon. And now Tyrone comes up to Daikon and he's going to be talking, I mean, not Daikon, Obadiah. And he's telling the new Daikon, River, hey, listen, I want you to be strong like Obadiah. You know what I mean? So next we have the besties, okay? Because Obadiah and Tyrone, they really are the besties against River. It's like they're always going to undermine River, and it doesn't matter. They're going to continue to call him River. And River seeing the problem with that because Tyrone is still calling River and not Daikon. Did you see that when they played him?
Yeah, they both call him River, and they like, hey, Daikon, look like you slipped too. Oh yeah, I don't know why I did that. Yeah. So pretty much, you think about it, this whole episode,
it's a joke,
was pretty, you know what I'm saying? It was pretty much just exposing River, for how much of a Daikon he's not.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
This really was about this.
And in comparison to who's Anthony, who was the original Daikon.
Yeah,
you know, they said, you know, Anthony, he had strength. You know, he was smart. You know, he was loyal.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But as you see with Rivers, you know, he's like, yeah, man, you loyal and all that, but you ain't strong.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And they dogging him.
I mean, elder mother's loyal.
Yeah,
but she ain't no soldier.
For sure. And guess what? They both let River leave. River wanted to stay because he's the Daikon, right? The new Daikon.
And he wants to know what's going on.
Yeah, and they underestimate him even then. So once he leaves, it's just like if y'all at work. When y'all coaches or y'all supervisors say, okay, go on, you can go on and get off the road. When they stay behind, those are the real bosses. What you think?
Yeah,
those are the real bosses. And then both of them, they talk, and here go Obadiah. You think he gonna last? What Tyrone say? I don't know. You see what I mean? So Daikon / River really need to prove himself.
On top of that, Tyrone just finished beating up on Rivers all night long. You know,
and Obadiah loved it, didn't he? He loved that because he always liked to abuse Rivers too. Now at this, after they let River go, they bring what's her name? Ruth's daughter. Okay.
Callie.
And what makes me look at Tyrone to the narcissist that I know he is, he calls Ruth's daughter Callie. You see what I mean? He's not, I'm telling y'all think he is just this delusional. Yeah, he retarded. Yeah, he crazy. But he's sneaky and he's a scammer too. He knows that girl's name not Ruby for real. Remember, he was like,
yeah, you know, he's going along with this role play.
I know.
You know, this is all one big role play. You know what I mean? He's living in a fantasy world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They got everybody living in trailers. You know,
it was crazy. Absolutely. And so when, you know, they brought her up because she's the soldier of the soldiers, you know, and I'm like, is this because Obadiah can't stand Ruth, that he wants to make Ruth's daughter really like, oh yeah, this is the one that's gonna, you know, be
it could possibly be. I mean, we already heard him say in another episode, or was it this one, where he says, I'll do whatever it takes to get at Ruth.
Yeah.
Because that's when Rivers was like, yo, he was like, yo, did you have something to do with that? Talking about with Ruth and her like miscarriage and
I remember.
Whatever. And he was like, man, I'll do whatever it takes.
Yeah, that was episode 14. So yeah,
we already know that
Obadiah really can't stand Ruth.
He has no allies.
But you know what? If you think about it, though, Ruth is nothing like Tyrone's mother. Even though both of them was prostitutes, the difference between Ruth knows that this is a cult, right? And so Obadiah hates that. that she knows that it's a cult, and she's not going to work with him. See, he doesn't mind if you know it's a cult and that, you know, you're not brainwashed, but he wants to make sure that you're going to work with him.
Yeah, because
when you don't work with him,
because the fact that Ruth was able to get pregnant, by him, that gave her some leverage.
Yeah, it did.
Within the cult. You know what I mean? Because now she has his heir, and now, you know, she's going to be treated as the sacred mother.
Yeah,
right? You know
sacred mother.
So that was the thing that was, you know, irking him. The fact that the position that she now had because she's pregnant.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. So next we got the new negotiator. Okay, so this dude, he's in here, and I mean, it's funny to me, you know, because I'm like, okay, they're talking about getting a new negotiator coming. So all of them are like standing together, and they're gonna have the negotiator come through and speak with River. Okay, next we have. Guys, you know how I do this sometimes, and it's not on purpose. Next, we have Marva putting the drink together. Okay, now this drink, we find out that this is going to be what they consider the crossover. So she's getting a drink together so that way she can, I guess, Operation Crossover. Okay. Yeah, so kind of like the Jonestown thing that happened with Jim Jones, basically to unalive everybody with a drink. Okay.
Yeah, because you see, Tyrone, obviously he knows what's going on, but he's keeping them in this fantasy world that he's made up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when he talks to the FBI, he says, listen, man, if y'all don't back up, you're going to have a whole lot of bodies on your hands.
Yeah.
So he's fully aware.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? He's keeping them in this fantasy world.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And, you know, we got the girl there, the one who was getting it on, and she was sneezing, and Mother Marva was like, oh, you cannot sneeze. And I'm like, wait a minute. What y'all worrying about her sneezing and y'all making poison?
Yeah, exactly.
Who cares if she sneezes on it? It's bad for everybody.
Because he's talking about we about to go the time to see the Raku is drawing near.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So why do you exactly? I didn't catch that.
I didn't catch it either. And you got what's her name? Joan. You know, Joan, like I said, I like Joan. Sometimes she gets on my nerves, but y'all, Q was right. Joan is smart. You know, she is very smart. So she's asking questions. She wants to know what's going on. You know, she wants to know why is this happening. And Marva is like, yeah, we're going to the crossover. And what she say, we're going to meet the Raku and all of this. And Joan not with it. She's just trying to find out everything she can. I didn't know who this lady was, but she was looking evil. So I did make notation of that. Y'all, so anyway, Marva tell Joan get on with the get on. She don't want Joan really in the kitchen. She told her to just leave. I think Joan mentioned to her that she had an infection. And she's like, oh, just use water.
Soap and water.
She's like, use soap and water. She said, you foolish girl. You stupid girl. I'm like, dang, they so rude. Okay, so next, River gave his real name to the feds. What you thought about that?
Yeah,
because remember his name is Michael. Yeah, his fake name.
Yeah, because he don't. Rivers knows, right, that if the highest finds out, or anybody, Obadiah finds out that he's communicating back and forth with the feds, you know it's
a wrap.
Yeah, he's gonna have to walk the plank.
He looks scared. He looks scary.
Now he's giving him his real, because mind you, this is just after he just got beat up. Yeah. Right.
You know, all the bad stuff that could happen to him with Tyrone.
Yeah, and he knows that, you know what I mean, his
His days.
I can't even say his days. His time.
His time is untimely.
Yeah, is winding down.
Winding down.
Yeah.
So yeah, the negotiator is like, hey, just try to get Tyrone on the phone. If you could do that, we'll appreciate it. You know, we'll try to take it from there. Yeah. So River is having hope in that.
Yeah, it's a cry for help.
A very big cry for help. Then we have Joan over there fixing her wounds.
Yeah, she getting suited up.
Suited and booted.
She knows it's gonna be time to run.
Okay. and Ruth and them, they like, yo, what's going on? She's crashing out, y'all. She's so like scared. And Ruth and Zane, I would tell you, those three girls right there, those three women, man, they've been through the most. And they just trying to survive. Okay, y'all.
Matter of fact, yeah, all last three of them.
Yeah, all three of them.
Remember Zane been through it, and she tweaked out for a minute.
Yeah, she tweaked out.
She had they brought her back though.
Yeah,
but, yeah, she was all gone for a minute. You know what I mean? She caught that one little body. You know what I mean? And she was just, you know what I mean?
She was just going crazy. And then she was obsessed at one time, trying to please Tyrone. And
all she saw was red.
Yep. And so, you know, Joan, y'all, at this point, she's crashing out. Okay? Her face tells it all. And as you can see, you know, she's just saying, listen, we got to do something. She was like, did you see Marva? She's getting drinks together and they're doing all of this. And Ruth's like, so what? This is not the first time.
Yeah. But she like, no. It's different.
It's different. She said it's different. And then Ruth was like, what's so different? And then they mentioned the first daikon. The first daikon kept all the crazy people in line, and it's true. Remember, Lacey was one of the crazies that he kept in line. Okay, it wasn't just Lacey, it was a whole bunch of crazy people that he kept in line, and he kept everything moving. He didn't give the FBI too much information because he really liked to be in the camp. He didn't want to escape. Okay,
that's true.
And that was basically the truth. I really feel like that.
But you know something else? That just reminds me. I had to say it because Daikon was his most loyal soldier. Friend / lover, / whatever. You know what I mean? And it's almost like when you go to a job, you know what I mean? You be the most loyalist worker.
For sure.
And they treat you like trash.
For sure.
Like crap.
Treat you like crap. Like boo-boo. And now we got Tyrone. He got both of his so-called best man, and he looking at River like, what's up? Because remember, River came in on Tyrone and Andrew. Tyrone was acting strange for Andrew, and Andrew looked like, I don't know what Andrew was gonna do, y'all, but y'all know that Tyrone was looking a hot mess for Andrew. So here comes River like, yo,
I think Andrew would have crashed out.
Yeah, Andrew would have crashed out, but y'all know what? I'm gonna tell y'all something. Between those three, when River came back, River was gonna get a phone to Tyrone, but Tyrone steady think about the government being evil. Okay, so now Tyrone want to stop talking about, hey, let's talk to the evil government. Tyrone like, I want a battle between you and Andrew. Prove to me, you know, who is going to be the daikon, because I need someone strong. So what you thought about that?
The scene right here?
Yeah. The two.
Yeah, you know, Tyrone, I don't know what he had planned for Andrew. You know, thank goodness that River came in when he did, because that diverted his, like you said, that diverted his attention to other things.
Yeah, that was a good thing. I'm happy.
Serious matters. However, he did tell River that, hey, listen, you know what I mean? Hey, both of you guys, you know what I mean, are both loyal. Andrew has shown this, and so forth and so on. You two gonna have to duel it out.
Hash it out now.
Y'all gonna have to fight for this. You know what I mean, for this new position.
Because I only need one daikon.
Exactly. I only need one daikon.
So, guys, now we about to get into episode 16. And I'm going to tell y'all, that was the ending right here. Who is going to be the daikon, the real daikon? And now we're at Ruthless 16, and the title is The Unthinkable. Okay. And basically it comes in as River fights Andrew to regain an important title, and Agent Millard carefully negotiates for a hostage exchange, but the highest punishes Ruth with an unspeakable act. So that is supposed to be the synopsis for Ruthless 16. This episode, what you think about coming into it with these three women?
I'm looking at this picture, and Zane looks cute in this picture.
Yeah, she actually do.
You know what I mean?
Zane is pretty.
But as you can see later on, as we get into it, right, you know, they're all gonna come together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
And you know, we'll talk about it.
Okay, so now we are at the place where everybody goes to when events happen, right? That place. And now, what do they call it? The gazebo, or remember where they sit at in that little opening where everybody sits at? It's under like this little covering, guys, but they're waiting now to all sum up to see the battle between Andrew and what's his name, and River. So they little place. They always do everything there. So I did that to show y'all how silly Mother Marva is. She's just ridiculous, and I wanted to mention to y'all that she's been a hot mess, but this episode, I kind of want to meet her in person to see if she really with the Raku, y'all. So, Mother Marva, please.
All the night, all the day.
Yeah, she crazy. Okay, so we got Obadiah getting all the children together, and again, this is something that they want to show us, that they making known that they're about to do this battle with Andrew and River. So they're getting everybody together. These men, I have never seen them before, but they was holding Tyrone.
Yeah, they brought him out.
Yeah, they brought him out, and you know, yeah. And like this whole battle was a big deal because everybody came, okay, to see. And you got these three women, they all talking about like who gonna win. Because they don't think that River has a chance. Okay, they really don't think that River has a chance. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. I brought this up to show y'all how they look, but this is the point. They had a conversation prior, I want to say River and Ruth,
right,
about how to win. So they did have that conversation prior, and Ruth is like, hey, look, get them where it hurts. Okay, in the private area.
Which a lot of this I'm not really understanding. Only reason why I say that is because just a minute ago, you were saying, you were talking to Zane in another episode, and you were saying how Rivers and Obadiah, you got something for them. And just a second ago, you was happy.
Yeah.
That Rivers is getting what he deserved.
Yes.
And so was Joan.
Yes.
You know, Joan, she hate Rivers.
Yes. Right? Absolutely.
But now that they know that Rivers is about to meet his fate, you know what I mean? And now they're like, they're concerned. They care about him now. You know what I mean? As you see that these people in this camp, right? They're all wishy-washy.
Very wishy-washy.
All of them. They switch alliances by day.
By day.
By day, or according to circumstance.
Yeah,
you know,
if
one person find themselves like in the heap of trouble, then they like all sins are forgiven, and then they go ally with their enemy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So all of them are wishy-washy, as you see.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And it's a shame, and if you really think about it, what I noticed is through that they was also trying to plan an escape. So that's the reason why Ruth was so eager to help River, right? Because he's like, listen, we all gonna get free. I know we had problems before, but don't worry about those problems that we had before. We all gonna be free. And what's gonna happen now, we gonna all stick together. We gonna have to find a way to get things together so that way we can escape. Then he mentioned something about Daikon having a hole somewhere that he never covered up or something.
With when the last time they escaped, they went through the hole in the fence, right? Yeah. So I guess over there they must have patched it up, but he was saying that they can still hop over the fence. If it's not guarded, they can hop over the fence. Right. But I mean, they talk about that later on. Right. Absolutely. But we do know that since Ruth and River have reconciled in some kind of way, you got Ruth, River, Zane, and Joan. They all gonna stick together at this point. Okay. Next, this is a scene that I put here so you guys can see the battle. You already seen that everybody was probably counting River out. Okay, I don't know. How did you feel about this? Yeah, just before they fought, remember Manny and Peter? They were they were making fun of him. You know what I mean? And they were talking about like, yeah, Rivers. Right. They're like, oh, Daikon. They're like, And then remember, Rivers was like, yeah, when I become Daikon, you too. You out of here. Right. And he told him that. So right now, pretty much, nobody believes that Rivers is going to beat Andrew. Not even the highest himself. Right. As a matter of fact, I feel like Andrew, he's sick. I feel like Tyrone sick Andrew on Rivers. Yeah. Because he wanted Andrew to replace Rivers. Absolutely. To be the new Daikon. So that was his plan all along. Wow. That's sick. They didn't expect for Rivers to come out of this. Nobody did. And if you notice it, because Andrew was knocking him down. Bam, bam. I'm talking about like a beast. Boom, 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 boom. He had no chance. Exactly. If Ruth would have never helped River. So, and they blocked the escapes. So now, you know, this poses the question now. Is because before this, we know that Andrew also, he had a little conversation with the feds. Yeah. He talked to them on the phone. Yep. And he told him, he said, hey man, they trying to make me the new Daikon. trying to put me the second man in charge. Absolutely. Another conversation I don't understand, right? Because you know, the response that came from the feds was like, first of all, they all like, hey, listen, man, you ain't never one of us. Yo, you ain't down with us. They don't trust him for nothing. Yet, Andrew, he still takes his time, right, to fall back to them and feed them information. Yeah. And all they can give him is they butt the kiss. But they take their information. Yep. You know what I mean? And it's like Andrew, he can never be cleansed. There's nothing he can never be cleansed. There's nothing he can do to get him back in their graces. Yeah, that's crazy work. Which is also interesting here because he says, hey, well, they want me to have a fight with Rivers, and the winner becomes the new Daikon, right? Yeah. He said, so superior, the FBI, the superior says, well, if you win, you know, what type of leverage would you have in that position? Right. Right. He said, well, it'll probably have me doing all the torture stuff. Right. And the guy says, he says, well, listen, don't put yourself in a position where you can, you know, be doing some torture. Right. However, right, if he loses, now he can be what you call it? Unalive. You know what I mean? And so they tell him to not win. That is crazy. That was beyond me for them as FBI agents. So the question now is, did Rivers truly beat him, or did he take a fall?
Okay, I get where you're going.
Me personally, I think it's a combination of both.
Yeah.
Because you notice, Andrew popped on Rivers first. He had to drop on him. He had him all in the sleeper hole. He about to put him to
he was talking to him like he was crazy.
He about to put him to sleep. But he kept saying, wow, this all you got? This all you gonna do?
Yeah,
this all you got? This all you gonna do? Yeah. So I feel like he let up on him.
To see what he was gonna work.
Because now mind you, if he beats him, then that blood is gonna be on his hands. Right?
Yeah.
That blood will be on his hands. I mean, like I said, this whole situation, I can't see how he can be held accountable for any of his actions.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely. And guess what? Now we find out that River is the winner. So being that River is the winner, River is now like, because y'all, River listened to Ruth use that, as I said, the actual yes, used it and basically hit him where it hurts. And after that was it. Like for Andrew stayed on the ground. Tyrone counted to 10 because River was like, hey, come on, like, let's go. Right. And so now we know River was mad at Peter, which is that soldier, Peter. He was also mad at Manny. And basically made them go into the punishment trailer.
Yeah, he didn't even put his clothes on. He was like, yo, you two, both of you are He said, y'all both go into the punishment trailer. Rivers didn't even put his clothes on.
Everybody who laughed at me,
y'all going.
Okay, y'all, we down to the nitty gritty at the end of this recap. We only got a few more to go. Let me tell y'all, this smile that y'all see right here, let me tell you how it all came to fruition. So, Obadiah is smiling like this, but let's go into why he's smiling. Ruth, for whatever crazy reason, she went over to the children's trailer and talked to her daughter, Callie, aka Ruby.
She cried.
And she literally just went crazy, crying, and girl, don't you remember me? I'm your mama, and I'm gonna help you escape. And then for a second, Callie was like, oh, mommy, I remember you. And it was just so crazy, y'all, because it's how I look at it. All I can tell y'all is that I believe that Callie does know what's going on, but it's only because that is her mother. She knew her mother before she got into the cult, even though she's a little brainwashed. But soon as Obadiah came in and seen Ruth and walked up, Ruby, aka Callie, she turned back into Ruby and was like, no, I, believe in the raccoon or whatever she said. So
my name is Ruby.
My name is Ruby.
Yeah.
And then Obadiah was like, okay, get on out of here.
Yeah.
Little girl.
Obadiah, he done walked up on her and he heard the whole conversation.
Yes. So he is so happy because he's ready for battle.
Yeah, but it also proved what he already knew.
Absolutely.
And now he's got evidence.
Now he said, and he smacked flames from her in front of her daughter. Then he told her daughter to get out, and then he hit her again. And he was like, "If you wasn't with child, I would unalive you."
Yeah, I think he had intentions on really doing her.
Yes, he really did. So he's pulling her, y'all. This is the end of episode 16. He's pulling her over to Tyrone. So just to let y'all know, when he gets over there to Tyrone, he tells Tyrone that she had plans to escape. Okay? That is a big deal. Okay, so Tyrone goes ballistic. Needless to say, he knocks Ruth to the ground. He, he goes crazy on her, and then at this point,
he tried
to stomp her out. Like he acted like he was a part of the river dance. You ever see the river dance when they on stage?
Yeah.
Man, they or tap dancing. Like he was tap dancing her to life and death. Like literally. And Obadiah was there for it. He was smiling, and he just had this great smile on his face.
Did you notice?
Yeah.
Did you notice the whole scene? I know you don't got the pictures up.
Yeah.
But you noticed, because I watched that scene a couple of times, man, and it just kind of tickled me because when Obadiah he came to the highest trailer, he's pulling Ruth by her arm.
Yeah.
Ruth, man, her whole robe is all like coming off, her hair is all out and exposed, you know what I mean? And Tyrone, he come off the porch, he like, yo, what you doing with the sacred mother? He like, yo, why you, what's wrong? Right?
Yeah.
And Obadiah's like, yo, man, caught her up in the children's trailer, man. Yo, she got plans to escape tonight. Talking to Callie. We're talking to Ruby, whatever they calling her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yo, you looked at Obadiah? He pushed him.
Yeah, he pushed him.
He pushed him out the way like he was nothing. Like it was a hard mush.
And that mush was no joke, boy. He mushed him all the way to the side. And this is why I think, again, even though we know Tyrone retarded, he crazy, but we do know that he is definitely not as cuckoo, right?
Yeah.
Because he's a scammer, y'all. But what he does know, he knows his feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So right now he's upset because he really thought Ruth was for the raccoon.
Yeah, well, she had his
mind and she had his body.
She had his baby, right?
Yeah.
And she was fronting, making it seem like, you know what I mean, because she got his child, that the child hears from the raccoon too.
Yeah.
So that gave her some leverage.
Yeah. What she could say and what she can do.
Exactly.
And she was untouchable. She was like the second person in charge. Yeah, so it's going crazy. It's going crazy.
It's we gotta, now mind you, we just talking about Ruth before, how she always manages to get out of trouble.
Yep.
Now her cover is completely blown. It's like, we don't see how she can come back.
How can she? And so we also got to talk about where River, is he going to help what's his name? Andrew. Mm-hmm. Is he going to help Andrew get out of this? Because we know that Andrew was taken over to the punishment trailer. So now that Andrew is in the punishment trailer, will River help him to get out? Because I'm not saying River owe Andrew anything, but really, I believe that River knows that Andrew is really FBI. Like, he can't be that dumb.
River knows, he said that.
Yeah,
Remember,
like,
he said, before he had to fight him, he said, yeah, isn't he military?
Yeah.
He got military training.
Yeah.
And so forth and so on. He's like, man, how am I supposed to be him?
Yeah, and I'm just hoping that he helps Andrew get out the punishment trailer. Ruth, y'all, I hope that he also helps Ruth get out the punishment trailer.
Yeah. Now, my whole question about this whole thing too, when it comes to Andrew, especially Ruth too, I don't see what is the big beef between Ruth, or why does Ruth hate Andrew so much?
Because her homegirl was actually like loving Andrew, was in love with Andrew, and she feels guilty about Tally getting away and then unaliving herself, and she feels guilty about that. So now she blames Andrew double. It's like, now I don't only blame you because you were FBI, you should have hurried up and got me up out of here and my child, but I also I really don't like you because you really was acting like you was like had it all and you was gonna help me and my homegirl and all of us escape, but now my homegirl done got away and unalived herself.
Yeah, I feel what you're saying. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
My whole point is that Andrew they tried to unalive Andrew.
Yeah,
he
for real.
was almost out of here a few times.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
that's true.
Andrew, he could have been at the raccoon right now. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So he had to move and make decisions. He had to get up out of the situations. You know what I mean? Andrew done been through it. That's what I'm talking about. I'm like, okay, all right, Andrew took out the boy. Right? He took out the boy.
Yeah.
But Andrew did what he had to do. The boy was about to blow it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he had to keep him quiet, and that was the only way to do it. Was to get him out of here.
Get on out of here, boy.
Saying, you know,
boy.
All of them, at the end of the day, all of them is there for self.
Yeah.
You know, the only person I actually see caring about someone else and jumping to someone else's is Andrew.
Yeah, for real.
You know what I mean? It would have been nothing. Andrew, he could have let Glitch just go off on him.
Yeah, he could have.
But because he's law enforcement, those are instincts.
Those are instincts.
You know what I mean? It's to protect and serve. So he's always going to have those instincts.
Now,
regardless.
if he was Max, though, the one who was sleeping with his wife and was sleeping with Brian's wife too, Max would have let that happen. Of course. Even though he was an FBI agent and he had certain standards, because he was a piece of scum.
Yeah, he was sleazebag.
A sleaze.
You know what I mean? What?
Yeah, he's the one who sing that song, the song of the TV show goes down.
Yeah, that's him. My whole thing is like, I just don't understand why everybody has this gripe with Andrew. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I'm saying, what did he ever do? You know what I mean? You went back to go trust Rivers. Rivers tried to get Ruth out of here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Twice. On 2 different occasions with that whole ultrasound thing. And then after when she was, looked like she was having a miscarriage when she had the infection, then he was like, yeah, let's do another ultrasound. And they was waiting outside for her to come out.
Yeah, I understand. You're right. So why did Ruth...
Exactly. Why
River would have been good to be out of here.
Exactly. So why are you helping him? Why are you helping him now? You saved his life. The same person who tried to get you out of here, you end up saving his life. Now, when did Andrew try to get you out of here? And you talking about I trust him more than I trust Andrew. What has Andrew ever done?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Andrew got a life too. He got to survive too.
He got a child too.
And he has a child too.
That he cared about.
I mean? So, you know what I mean? I guess we're going to see. But we know how this ends up at the end. We gonna
Absolutely.
Get to it.
And so, what are they going to do about Callie? Did you see the end? Oh no, Callie. Oh no. I mean, like, I see, like, why does the FBI want Callie so bad? Oh, because the family said that. I didn't get that part.
Well, because she was kidnapped. Remember when the very first season, the very first episode?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's when Ruth was brainwashed.
For sure.
She still was, you know what I mean, all raccooned up. You know what I mean? She didn't know any better. You know what I mean? And she went to go get a kid, probably because they told him to get her.
Yeah.
But she wasn't in her senses then.
She wasn't in her senses.
But, you know what I mean? That is kidnapping.
That is.
She took the child and took her to a whole cult.
But she didn't know that was a cult, y'all.
No, she didn't know that then. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying that, you know what I mean, back then she still was brainwashed.
Of course. Yeah, so that's the only thing, y'all. I mean, that's the thing I'm scared of. Because she's adorable child. I mean, she's a child. That's all that matters. And it's like, oh my goodness, so what are they going to do? Because remember, it's only 2 things that they had. They had the crossover, which is the drinks. And then they had the unthinkable.
Yes.
Which is going to use Callie.
So we got Operation Crossover. That is when they all drink the punch.
Yeah, drink the punch.
You know what I mean? And then the unthinkable, obviously, is strapping
C4,
the whole vest of bombs onto Callie.
Oh,
right?
No.
Now, some other things too. Just one thing I just wanted to hit on.
Okay.
I know we don't have the pictures for it.
Yeah.
But George and Lewis, right?
Oh yeah, they escaped.
They were in a trailer.
Yes.
And Eli, that new soldier.
Yeah, the new soldier.
He's come to his senses. You know what I mean? He's come to his senses when he went in the trailer the first time and seen Lewis with his eyes gouged out.
Yeah.
And George with his joint cut off. You know what I mean? That kind of it woke up something. You know,
and it made him feel bad.
And now good for him. He still know what's right from wrong.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He's still able to discern between good and evil. You see what I'm saying? And he came there first, bought him some food, and then he set him loose. Yeah. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring that up is because I feel like right now. All hell's about to break loose.
Right.
Okay, so what do we have? We got Andrew and we got Ruth in the same punishment trailer.
Yes.
Also, did you notice, right? Neither one of them, they didn't put neither one of them in chains, right?
No.
And then why would you put Ruth in the same trailer with Andrew?
Exactly.
Like, you know, the only thing they can do is conspire together.
And then what about Peter and Manny?
Yeah, where they gonna put them at?
Exactly. So now it's like, this is gonna be crazy, y'all.
You know what I mean? So you got that going on with them two. So you know they're gonna get out. Ruth is gonna be fine with Andrew, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, they'll be good,
yeah,
right? But now you also got Lewis and George and Eli. I feel like them three are going to try to escape together. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Because what would you think? Eli gonna let them go and then go back to his house? He's gonna go back to
I don't know what happened.
You know what I mean? So I look forward to seeing them three, you know what I mean, moving together.
Hopefully they can get away.
Yeah, see them three operating together.
Yeah.
As you notice, Zane, when she seen Ruth got caught, she's like, you know what, man, forget this. I'm out of it. I don't care about nothing right now. I'm gonna be at the rally point at the time that y'all said. You said either y'all there
or y'all not.
Or y'all not. So I'm out of here. You know, just going on too long.
For real.
You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? I could be next. She seen her friend lose her mind, crash completely out. Talking about Lacey. You know what I mean? When she put the fire and she burned herself to death.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yep. So yeah, y'all, it's a lot. This is one of the best episodes. Like, I can't wait till the next episode, guys. Thank y'all so much for rocking with us. I know, we was on here for a little bit longer.
My opinion, I've got to say this before we go.
Okay.
I feel like the next episode is going to be the most anticipated episode in Ruthless TV.
Wow.
Yeah, because there's a lot going on.
It's a lot
going on. Like I said, it ends with Callie with the C4 strapped to her chest outside. We don't know if that thing's going to blow up. We don't know what the deal is, right? Ruth has been exposed. You know what I mean? She's the fake sacred mother. You know what I mean?
The fakest.
She's been exposed. Andrew is in a punishment trailer. He's set for execution. You know what I mean? So got a lot of stuff going on.
Which is terrible because Tyrone, come on, why would you do this to him once he saved your life?
I feel like too, also you're gonna see that the alliances are gonna start to break down. Everybody's gonna be every man for themselves.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because Ruth, she was the head, believe it or not.
Yeah, she was.
You know what I mean? They all looked up to her. They all looked to her. You know what I mean? Whenever someone had a problem, someone's like, yo, what should I do? They came to Ruth.
Yeah.
And Ruth had to go fix it. Like, wow, I always got to do everything around here. Always got to do everything around here.
Yep.
So, I know I'm going in, right? But, just a lot of stuff, man, that I just, you know what I mean? I couldn't let go.
Yeah, you had to. I mean, this was really a cool episode. Like, honestly, it had me during the middle of it. Didn't I say I didn't want to see it no more for a second because I was getting too emotional and I was too involved and I did not want River to win. And even though I like River, okay, I can't stand him being Daikon because he's such a loser. And it's like, you are a LOSER River.
Loser.
River Khan. You are not Daikon, and you are a loser. You don't have the strength. You want to leave. So why would you even want to take on this role? Do you know how? Look what happened to the first Daikon. Mind you, he kept on doing silly things too. And anytime things would happen, once Tyrone found out about it, Tyrone will always find out about it at the end of everything. And then Tyrone will be like, Daikon, look how many times bad things could have happened to me. So when Tyrone unalived Daikon, it was for a reason. River, why would you want to be Daikon? You are so crazy. He thought he could handle it. But obviously, like, he does not know how to handle it. And that's the reason why I was getting emotional when I was watching the show.
Yeah, because in that position that he had. See, now that, because when he fought Andrew, that's like him having a championship belt. You know what I mean? He was fighting to keep his championship belt.
Exactly.
And Andrew was fighting to become the new champion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know, after Rivers had defended himself and defended his title, you see him now, he got his nuts up. Now he like, hey, you go over there, and if anyone doesn't do this, you'll be shot. I'll shoot you myself. Now he's the man now.
He's the man. He got the juice.
Yeah, but I'm like, you could have been doing that before. Exactly. You know what I mean? You was Daikon. You know what I mean? But y'all was so busy chasing behind Ruth, trying to catch her and get her tripped up and trying to expose her for the fraud she was. You know what I mean? You sitting here, you know what I mean? You should have been thinking about getting up out of there.
Absolutely.
You should have been left out of there.
With the money.
And also, mind you, right? Joan is concerned about Ruth because when Ruth got knocked, when she got caught.
Got knocked.
Yeah, when Ruth got caught, Zane was like, yo, listen, I'm out of here. And Joan was like, we gotta figure out how to, because remember, Joan sent that money over to her account.
Ooh.
Okay. Right. So yeah, Joan still need that bread.
She still need that bread, yo.
You know what I mean?
So that is the reason why. Oh my goodness, y'all. Y'all listen. Q, I'm happy this is point of view with Joy and Q. Yo, my OG.
She didn't forget about that money.
I forgot.
Because
you right.
Ruth is out of here. She still need to get that money. You know what I'm saying?
That's $1 million. $1 million.
I would have been happy with $100,000. Man,
come on now.
Yeah, man. I can make something happen with $100,000.
Yeah.
Shoot.
You and me both. Yep, y'all. So as y'all can see, it was a really, really cool episode. But thank y'all so much for watching episode 15, episode 16 review show with Point of View with Joy and Q. And I also want to say, guys, please like, subscribe, and share. And we out. Peace.
Peace.